chance to hear all nations. We're going to watch a short drill for reflection, words spoken in meditation. I don't know, we haven't got Italian translation. Maybe Paola is happy to step in for 5 minutes. Just a sign now. And we'll watch for a few minutes. Thank you.
सेकंड में एक सेकंड हुआ, एक सेकंड में सारी सभा जो भी जहाँ है वहाँ मन को एक ही संकल्प में स्थित करो। बाप और मैं परम धाम में अनादि ज्योति बिंदु स्वरूप परम धाम में बाप के साथ बैठ जाओ। अच्छा, अभी साकार में आ जाओ।
welcome back, and very nice this opportunity to reflect on the subject of silence. And also I see Piero has joined us, which is great, and I think Joanna also. And it'd be nice to hear from you, your reflections on the homework. Just going to change translators, and also warm welcome to Prashant. And be nice to deepen this subject and understand how it can be more natural and part of our natural practice of yoga. So handing over to Prashant. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, and hello and good morning. And so nice, Baba, starting with the experience of the Supreme Home. Let us come back in that experience just for one more minute. The whole game becomes easy when we use paras, because for the paras, that is not a meditation, that is his world, that is his home. And the soul is not a concept. The soul wakes up and sees from that perspective to be that invisible presence that is normal for the soul. To see the entire physical world, and within that is this gathering, and Prashant is all within that physical world. That appears in an obvious way, a story, a theater, no different to any Cinderella or Harry Potter. That is a drama going on as if down below. And the invisible soul understands his independence from that whole story. This is the main thing. We are checking if that feeling is there, that invisible soul is not extension of anything from the story. It is not extension from Cinderella. That story is independent, and invisible soul is independent. He has woken up, and he understands he belongs to this alokik reality. Its world is different. And in this world is his supreme friend, also alokik and incorporeal. At this level, everyone is subtle presence. That is normal. It is only in the drama that is gross, and you need these gross things like the body. One who is paras, for him it is normal to be that presence. And so the whole family is like that, incorporeal. And so the father is also incorporeal, eternal. But here is one who is the wisest, who is never deceived into this very sophisticated drama. He remains in that full clarity, whether it is drama of 5 minutes or thousands of years. It's a story and it's a drama. He remains clear in that. And anyone who remains free from the drama, he experiences bliss. he knows subtle freedom and being beyond harm, and that is the nature of every soul. They just experience the bliss of the soul. With the Supreme Friend, he always remains free. So he remains the wisest, highest. He remains holiest. No Ravan ever. He remains being of bliss and loveliest. He is wonderful, but the soul that is conscious knows there is a personal bond. All have this bond, but there is that personal friendship and belonging, eternal bond. And this bond cannot change based on the story. He's just waking up to this. And as he continues on his journey in the sky or on earth, there is no reason why he should go into ignorance. He has the aim to stay in truth. He may be in the story and in the actions, but he remains the invisible soul. He remains the invisible actor, invisible observer. That truth remains. He always remains the one from the sky. Thank you. As was mentioned, feel free to type your thoughts, or comments, questions, we'll deal with it. We'll come to this subject of power of silence and see its connection with power of science. What Baba speaks of this connection, what is the contrast? But before this, let us use some of the sketches that we used yesterday, just reminding quickly. Is the sound, are we back in sound?
After about a minute of being disconnected, thank you for everyone's patience. We are very good at unpredictable. It's good training, isn't it? Okay, so I fingers crossed, we'll
Yeah, it is
send it
just
back.
to, yes. So we are using the board again. And some of these visual images are very useful for us. One image we used yesterday, we have this world here, and within that there is soul awareness. That ordinarily ego is so dominant. Some of these ego are, we don't even know that ego is ruling our life. As you noticed, the whole day can go past where there is no thought about the soul. So soul consciousness doesn't happen without your attention. The normal state is very, very stubbornly ego consciousness. To create soul consciousness, you need to use the best intellect, and you have to give this attention and the perspective from beyond, where you are seeing independence from the story and the drama. During those seconds, minutes, there is soul consciousness. We are giving importance to this because otherwise we might think we are progressing, but it is some kind of relaxation, but not soul consciousness. The big success is in growing in this accurate soul consciousness, and that is what removes the ego. It is huge success because ego is the cause of all evil in the world and at personal level. We saw at various times, ego is the cause of all our unpleasant emotions. Ego is the cause of vinas forces, all the misfortunes. So it is good to remove ego. There are no methods anywhere in the ordinary education to remove ego. In fact, the whole system of the present world is to feed the ego. Everyone wants a bigger hat and bigger rank, largely to feed the ego. So here you have to be accurate to get this success. We saw our starting position is like this. We also like to refer to this sketch that we have our world, important world. Even as we listen, come in the experience of it. We are not seeing this as knowledge, but this is our truth. We are the invisible souls, invisible travelers, and we are part of that family, that home. And we visit this physical world for a short time. We are showing this in this, show the physical world small because we want to create our mental image that is small, insignificance. Otherwise, ego has made it so big and so important that we are drowning in it at present. If we feel this story is so important, so serious, I can't stop thinking of it, I have to solve something. If I'm so obsessed with it, it is because of the ego. For ego, it is very big. He's absolutely happy to ignore his world, ignore himself even. Just caught in the Cinderella day in and day out. So here we are putting it right 100%. Paras means you come out of all ignorance in 1 second. You are seeing from full light. And you are seeing that truth is big and truth is beautiful. It is alokik. Alokik, we translated it as unearthly. Even though here we are talking and it appears Prashant is talking, and here we all are physical, and meeting together for some spiritual progress. But the real progress can only happen at the alokik level. The real spiritual beings are at alokik, separate completely. And at a physical level is just a story going on. To know this, even though we are involved in the story, our world is alokik. Those who heard today's Murli, one statement that came towards the end, and accumulate within you the spiritual powers. Fill yourself with spiritual power, because this will help you to make others powerful. And at present, the world needs power to come out of this whole, the ego and the sticky web. Everyone needs power. And the real help we require is at that level. So first, we have to be powerful if we are to free others out of this web. How? How do you make yourself powerful? Do you want to answer? Completely agree that we have to be powerful. That's why we are here. Even the subject of today is power of silence. Not just silence, but we want something. It is just a different power. It is not some power in the military power or political power. It is different power. But how do you become powerful? How do you fill yourselves with power? What is your method?
Someone's written attention. Another answer, go beyond emotions, detach, connect with God, peace, self-consciousness, opening spiritual channels by filling ourselves with yoga and meditation.
Good, very good. Yes, it is good to think of, to get this process. Now, the spiritual knowledge says all are powerful already. It's just like when we say you are eternally souls, and souls have power already. You are truly, this is a race of angels. Angels have power. Just like they are beings made of bliss and love, we say this. In the same way, they have power. But imagine if there is an Olympics champion. He gets gold medals. But if he's tied with a rope, he cannot use his skills and he cannot use his talents. He's tied. He himself needs some help. But if he is released, if he's free from the rope, then he can use the rope and do something more useful. And he can discover his talents. In the same way here, these souls are immensely powerful, but if they are caught in this web, then they are slaves. They're at the mercy. Some wind, rain, anything can give them sorrow. Another one word from someone can give them sorrow. They are not powerful when they are in the web. When they are free, then nothing can hurt them. They have the option to be happy. Power helps them to be free like this. At least they can be happy on their own choice, and they can be loving. They are the masters. They are not subservient. So at present, we ourselves are caught in this web. How? How are we caught in the web? What is the sign that we are caught in the web? So if this is the physical world, we say this is a story, this is a drama, this is a great play, and it is all true, an extraordinary gift, but it is also a web. And this is the cause of all sorrows in the world, this box. So how do we create bondage? How do we get caught in this web?
Desires have been written, attachments, biases, body consciousness, discomfort, unhappiness, reaction.
Good, good, very good. So sometimes we give an example. There is a cloud there, and I'm here. But I can just create a bondage by just creating an expectation. I create an expectation that cloud should not change colors, and I get into the bondage. This is the way we create a bondage. Then that cloud changes color, that cloud can bring me sorrow. So expectations, desires, that is one department. I can start to believe, no one can stop me, that cloud is my cloud, because it is right above my garden. In a moment you create this another bondage, then you're another level of sorrow you are going to get. That cloud changes its place, it disappears, and you are in sorrow. You can start to create ego based upon the cloud. You can say, I am so important because my cloud is so wonderful, so beautiful. You can identify yourselves with the cloud. Give yourself self-respect based on the cloud. Different ways you can create bondage. Discomfort comes afterwards. First is the bondage. So that is the example of the cloud. Use the same example to here. So here is this world. See if you have created bondages here. Are there, in this box, there are people, position, possessions are here. And are you creating expectations? Even here, the iPad and the computer and internet, are you creating expectations? Are you creating any desires from people? Do you think you own anything, anyone there? Ego is a big department. It's like absurd. We were giving the example cloud. Someone creates ego based on the cloud. You will say this person is strange. He gives himself self-respect based on the cloud. We are doing exactly the same thing. Seen from the higher perspective, these invisible angels, invisible princes from God's world, temporarily passing through this box, temporary. It is blatantly temporary. And he starts creating bondages, all levels, non-stop. And he doesn't even know he's doing anything wrong. It is like as if he has a full right on this. My, and system, governments, people, they all are supporting it. No one is questioning. This is our at present, the model. We have completely forgotten our attitude towards this story, drowning in it. So in such a state, it is like we are caught in the web and ordinarily no way of coming out of it, because he doesn't even know that he is in the web. It is a bit like there is a spider's web and someone is caught in the web. And if he is so happy with it, then he is not going to come out of the web. Get some pain, he says, oh, the things will change, and now and then someone will help me, to make life comfortable in the web. And maybe even taking pride that my web is better than your web. Noose around my neck is smarter than noose around your neck. It is this kind of absurdity, our present state. But okay, at least to know this is a good start. This knowledge says, first become free from this web. And it's a game of a second. The moment you understand this is a web and there is an option beyond, you are seeing in a porous way that creates different possibilities altogether. Our aim is not just silence. That is many people in the world doing this. Just sit in silence and no, our time is very precious. We are emphasizing it yesterday also. And silence is useful for us, but if there is truth in it, if there is power in it, we don't want to get distracted by Ravan's noise, Ravan's, commotion. Ravan's noise, we want to be free, but we want to come in this truth and see what is happening. So we ourselves, if we are caught in the web like this, how are we useful to anybody in this state? If our ignorance may even bring others into the web. We think we are nice to others, but they also get caught in the web. Feel free if you want to say anything, add anything.
Yes, there's one question from today and then some from email from yesterday. Today, you mentioned a race of angels, souls who are powerful. Are all souls like this or just some?
All souls. We are just like the word soul, that applies to everyone. And the soul is like God. That's why that expression in scriptures, we are made in the image of God. And souls are angelic. Each and everyone, angelic prince. Starting position and eternal state is like this. Only when we come into the ignorance, cross the line, then Ravan's department comes in. So different souls may have different level of power. Some may cross that line more easily. Some don't cross the line that easily. And that is the difference. But eternal position and starting position of everyone is angelic.
Is being free from the web, sorry, trying to understand the question here. Does this happen at different levels or stages? Being free from the web. Sorry, actually, Irma, I think you need to rephrase this question. Not quite getting it.
Yeah, I'm getting the feel of it. What
other levels first. Oh, she's saying other levels first, external, then relationships, something along those lines. Yeah, if you want to expand, would be great.
Sure. Good thing is that we are caught in the web, but no one is catching us in the web. That is the good thing about this. There is a web and we are caught at many levels, But the ridiculous thing is we are catching the web. That is the ridiculous part of it. No one is holding us. That is why the moment we get the understanding of it, we can let go. That's why this language we hear, freedom in 1 second. In the language it is said, Jivan Mukti in 1 second. And so which means we can drop it. It is our choice. And when we are emphasizing this, that invisible soul right now, he is independent from the story, independent from Prashant, independent. His world is different. When you are experiencing it, you are already free. You are understanding everyone else, they are all roles in the Cinderella. You can't own anyone within that Cinderella. You are understanding. You love, of course, but your love is now to the family of souls, the invisible actors behind, rather than the temporary part. That is like waking up. You are understanding this, and you are out. During those seconds, you are out. The old habit might come back again, the clarity drops, and then you are back into old, but it will never be the same as before. Some light has come, understanding has come, ego becomes weaker. And if you create your discipline and program and repeatedly come back, do the homework, these attachments will continue to remain weaker. That all this is a good news, because as you become free, without even you knowing, there is a power. This power is not a physical power, but there is power. Every soul has power. And then this power helps to make others powerful. How? It is like you got light now, and you just are seeing this world. You are just seeing the truth of everybody else. It is almost like you got a torch and you are shining this torch for others. And to begin with, someone is in darkness, you shine your light. It's a big help for them. Then they might discover they got a torch also. But to start with, those who don't even know that there is an option of light, your light makes a big difference. So you just seeing this big truth of everyone, and you staying in that alaukic dimension, you experiencing it. Your attention is like light. And this will help others to come out of the web. Yeah, you wanted to, any other questions? You wanted to?
Yeah, that helps. Thank you. One question, how do we know that we have put others in a web?
We might not have put others in the web, but at present, each one puts themselves in the web to different levels, different degrees. If anyone is not experiencing the sky, then the only reason is they are caught in the web.
Just one, maybe an easy question here. What do we understand when there are souls that say that they are being God? Maybe they say they have an answer.
They are.
But they say that they are God. Any comments?
Sure. There are all kinds of opinions in this world and different concepts. they truly don't know what language of God is different to what we are talking about. And so they get some experience and they feel maybe I'm God, this kind of thing. But the word God has different definitions. They mean very, very differently. It
Yes.
doesn't mean much, not in the context we are talking.
Mhm. To be nice to others, to be lovely to others, is this an example of putting others in the web? Is that right? Like in a body conscious way?
No, to be nice to others is a good thing. But if our vision is soul conscious, if we see others as a soul, we take them out of the web. If we feed their ego in some way, if I say, wow, so amazing, your tie is so good and your head is extraordinary. If I'm doing this, I might be pulling them in the web. I might. It is up to each one, but certainly I'm not helping them. But I may be doing a wrong thing. But same thing happens with my attitude. I might not be saying this, but I'm impressed with their shoes and their whatever in a drama. I'm impressed. My attention is there. My light is shining there. So that definitely contributes to they getting caught in the web.
Yes,
But
clear. So
I want to emphasize, bottom line, each one is responsible for their own position, but we can help in a positive way. If we are ourselves careless, we could be contributing in a negative way.
yes, clear. So there aren't any other questions right now.
Sure. So we were talking about power of science, and in what way does science differs from silence? You want to answer? Power of science, in what way does it differ from power of silence? And we are emphasizing here, silence we are not seeing just as sitting in some silent room, soundproof room, silence, rich silence, silence where there is truth, silence where there is power. So what happens with power of science and what happens with power of silence?
Science is at the physical level, and science requires evidence, whereas silence is truth. Science is dealing with the temporary world and the gross, and silence deals with the eternal.
Sure, good, thank you. Now, one way to see this, let us see, you go to the garden and there are trees, and let us say there is a plum tree, apple tree, and there are some fruits. With those who are working with power of science, one absolute limitation of science, it is very much patthar intellect. Silence, it necessarily need to be paras. So when you are approaching your garden with patthar, your emphasis is on the fruits and the leaves and the branches. You completely ignore the seed and the roots. That is not you are seeing. Your focus is on the fruit. You are finding clever ways how to remove the fruit, how to pluck the fruit. But you are not paying attention to the roots. You don't even know the connection that there has to be water there, and that is what brings the fruit for the next year, and that keeps the tree alive. You are ignoring it. Don't want to know. So you then run out of fruit. Then you pluck the raw fruit, and you run out of the raw fruit also. You pluck the leaves and branches. If you are operating with patthar, then you can't have the fruit forever. It leads to destruction. It leads to dryness, emptiness. Destiny of patthar is that you are not working at a root level. When you are working with paras and you are now seeing, yes, of course, there are fruits and flowers and amazing tree, but there is also the seed and there are also the roots, and this is where the attention is required. You are understanding the value of watering the roots. The one with patthar, he says, what are you doing? You are wasting your time watering the roots. You are busy sowing the seeds. And he says, what are you doing? Let us pluck the fruit. Why are you wasting your time sowing the seed? But one with paras, he understands the value. Naturally, it is like what do the farmers do? They naturally do this because they understand the bigger map. Same happens in another level. When you are operating with science, power of science, it completely misses out on the foundation. And it misses out on the can you imagine? You just ignore the soul completely. Soul is becoming heavier and heavier, getting impure and soaked with ego and attachments and bondage. And no one wants to even know about this. So that is what happens with science. You ignore the seed, you ignore the obvious, for what is, ignore what is important. And they are plucking fruit. They're busy here, and they find clever techniques that can bring some fruit. But fruit is not going to continue forever. It cannot. And then one has to deal with the raw fruit and then no fruit. But one with paras, he understands the immense value of completely another level. So he says, today I am not interested in I can survive. I don't need to pluck more fruit. But let me get on with sowing the seed. So the one with power of silence is working at the soul level. Freeing the soul from the ego. Freeing the soul from Ravan. Freeing the world from Ravan. And those with science, they say, where is Ravan? What is this? We are dealing with something total waste of time. I don't see Ravan anywhere. Show me in the laboratory. There is Ravan. Where is that ego? Show me in the laboratory. What are you doing? Nothing. I cannot see anything. So that is their position. Whereas you say this is the most important thing. This is your mission, to free this world from Ravan. Free all the souls from Ravan. Free them from this web. That ends up, can you imagine, world free from Ravan? Then, as we said, souls are naturally angels. souls are naturally princes. They are godlike. You get a different world altogether. Golden age, it is, it is created now. It will not just come from sky somewhere, but there is a reason why you get golden age, because some work accurate intervention has to happen. And so power, that you just becoming free makes you powerful. This power helps you to make others powerful. When you are experiencing the sky, when the awake soul is experiencing the sky, it is like a lighthouse. It is a lighthouse effect. You are seeing the greatness of everyone. And there is a nice image someone gave. Say someone is hungry and he says, I'm hungry, please help me, I'm dying, please do something, have mercy. But a big plate of food is right in front of him. But that is in darkness. The food is in darkness. But plate is right in front. So you see what is happening here. You don't need to go to buy food. All that you need to do is shine light. And he finds the food. Everything is solved. Same is the situation here right now. Everyone is already rich. They are already immortal. They are already lucky. At many levels, they are lucky. That's why we are using the word angel. But they are not experiencing anything of this. They are saying, have mercy, I got this problem and I got that problem. They are begging. So you don't need to go, finding how to fix all this. You got light, shine light. Let them see their immortality. Let them see the prince. Let them see the angel. If you are seeing it, they will see it. And this is another effort. One is knowing it, but creating actual 1 minute when you are seeing it. Seeing this reality of all souls in the home, and they are all immortal, and they are all angelic princes, and they are lucky, and they are loved by God. It's the big thing. Every aspect is a big thing. In silence, there is no show going on. You are not on the platform saying, political party. Incognito, and you are shining light there. Without you knowing, they will get help wherever they are at in the world. Different people. The realizations will happen. The process will start. That is the practical application of this power. You want to say anything?
Really like this analogy of the food in front, shining the light. Just thinking it might be nice for some chance for practice.
Yeah. I wanted to tell one story. In this story, one boy is catching hold of a buffalo, and buffalo goes into the mud, and this boy gets dragged in the mud, and he says, hey buffalo, why are you taking me here? this is dirty, and this is dirty water here. But holding the tail tightly, not letting go of the tail. And that is our story. This boy has an option to let go of the tail and choose where he wants to go and sit and see the buffalo, what he's doing. Then he has no problem with the mud if he's seeing from his freedom. Mud is also nice, and buffalo nice, and tail is also nice. Everyone is happy. But when you catch hold of the tail, then it becomes a problem for you. That mud becomes your problem. So here, we are the ones who are holding on to the tail. We all need to ask if there are any buffaloes in your life. Are you catching hold of any tails? And tail is not going to let go of him. He has to let go of the tail. Complete Jivan Mukti in a second. And understand, when you let go, you are then useful to others. You can help others to let go of their tails. Let us come in the experience of our freedom and the power. And during this practice, want to underline the 10 experiences that we spoke earlier. They are not 10 steps, but 10 aspects, 10 experiences of a yogi. Remember? Everyone remembers? Who remembers? I will not ask you to go to, but who remembers all the 10? Just want to know. Or who feels you never heard this 10 experiences? You can mention if you remember all 10 and have been practicing it. You don't need to mention the details, but just if you do remember all 10 aspects.
Yeah, there's one yes and a no. So
good. Okay. Yes, very appreciate. So this yogi, in this case, the soul that is conscious, he's a yogi. Because in the story, it's Cinderella. We don't say Cinderella and the dragon, that these are characters. So invisible actor is the invisible observer, is the invisible soul. He is awake. He knows of his supreme home.
ये परम धाम को जानता है.
Knows of his true family, knows of his true father, of course, and he knows the true self. His world is alokik, subtle, that is natural for him. Now the 10 things that come, his experience, he finds his world is perfect. His world is perfect. He knows everyone else is also, their world is perfect. Nothing needs changing. Perfect has that implication. Because the home is supreme home, and family They are angelic family. Father, God. So in every aspect, this golden sky, he knows the world is perfect. Even the story is a story. He has no complaint. In Iron Age, you will get Iron Age plots. So his angle from which he sees, there is perfection. He knows that his world is complete. He got everything. That's why he literally feels he needs nothing. He certainly needs nothing from the story. He feels it is full. That's why he misses nothing, lacks nothing. Full, blissful, loveful. Every aspect is full. He knows he has got the best, not the second best. Not in one aspect he has got second best. We are talking here, God as a father, supreme home, great family, most refined treasures, bliss and peace and contentment. Starting position is this, power. And the extraordinary PlayStation in the story. He knows he has got the best. He knows he's lucky. In every aspect, he's lucky. He also knows everyone is lucky. Just to be happy forever. There is happiness within him. And immortality. So in every respect, he knows he's lucky. He knows he's beyond harm. Story cannot harm him, or there is nothing else beyond the story to harm. It's a world of immortality. Not even the slightest harm. No one can offend him. There is nothing to harm. There are only story, there are all kinds of characters, just like you are watching some dragon and drama. Not him. He is beyond harm. Not even the slightest harm ever. He knows his world is of love. Everyone is worthy of love. Immensely loved. If they are angelic and harmless and Ravan-free, they are childlike. And worthy of love and respect. It's a region of love. Loved by God, loved by all, everyone is loving and lovely. We understand the success is guaranteed. Everyone's destiny is success. We know the final score. We know the truth. So when you know already the next result, so there is no doubt whether the success will happen or not. At all levels, all round success is guaranteed. You know, and all of this is forever. We are talking talking about being lucky and getting best and love. This is forever. And this is a life of this soul who is conscious. Life of this prince, eternal prince who is conscious. His life is a celebration, eternal celebration. Silent celebration. That is the beautiful part. Otherwise, it is so rich. It is too much if it was all, celebration with the noise. It would be too much. What happens in any celebration? There is sense of belonging. There is happiness. There is a feeling of love and respect. There has to be an environment of security. This is a celestial celebration. This is the life. We call it yoga and meditation, but for the one who is awake, his life is celebration, but within that he experiences power also, creates power, creates truth, and creates light for others. Om Shanti. I'm happy whenever it is time to go to the rooms, but if there anything else you want to add, or if there is a poll, time for the Zoom poll, happy with that also.
Feel free to share your thoughts. And meanwhile, we'll have a couple of questions will come on your screen. So the first one is coming up. If you're able to answer, be great. Translators may need to just translate the questions if that's possible. If you're not able to answer, then not to worry, you can always type in the chat. And if you wish, private message. Okay. A few moments. Thanks to everyone who completed, or just some votes still coming in. Okay, so we'll just share for your reference the results. And one more question, just an easy one. You might need to translate Okay, great. Yeah, I think you can touch the screen, then click done, and it should work. So thanks to everyone. The results coming up. So I'm going to ask Prashant if you want to, yeah, morning class is the question. Thank you, and don't worry if it didn't quite work. Sometimes it can be technically challenging a little bit, we understand. Prashant might like to suggest a focus for the discussion in the rooms, and then after that we'll be joined by Sister Maureen Goodman from London, who will be sharing and be with us after the break, and there'll be chance for some questions. So Prashant wants to comment.
Yes, and the subject is on power, how to fill ourselves with power, and how we understand this subject of power, not just the silence, but power of silence, spiritual power.
Thank you. Beautiful topic. And again, invitation for the rooms. If you find you're not in the right room for your language, there's a help button, and Nicole, who's looking after rooms today, will come. Just give a few minutes to let her come in and enjoy, and maybe just if being mindful to give everyone a chance to share. So there's maybe about 10 minutes we'll have. So speaking in essence will be great, and meet you back soon. Thank you. Welcome back, and we'll just create maybe a minute to pause before we continue. A moment to reflect. Very warm welcome back, and I hope your discussions were fruitful. And I'm going to introduce Sister Maureen, who is joining today from London, based in London, and she's program coordinator for activities in Global Cooperation House, and I think much more involved with in-house, but also external outreach in the community, interfaith, and prison service, many things. And we're very happy to have you join this powerful gathering. So looking forward to hearing from you, and I think there'll be chance for questions if anyone would like to share in the chat, and I will ask them in sound to Maureen. So over to you, and warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's lovely to join your gathering. And I know that the retreats have been going on for many years actually, and many people have benefited from being part of it. Really is a life-giving herb to many. And especially at this time when there is so much uncertainty, so much fear around, to be able to really access that power of silence and deep inner strength is really what is needed in the world. So I think you have chosen the best possible theme. And of course, Baba, on the one hand, Baba talks to us a lot about the power of silence, but Baba gives us that experience. And it's a special time. Tomorrow we are broadcasting, and I hope you'll all be part of it, our a memorial event for Daddy Janki for 1 year. It will be at 4 p.m. tomorrow. But we're just putting the final touches to it. And of course, I'm not working on the filming, but it's all a buzz in the office. And it's incredible how you can feel the presence of Baba and the presence of Daddy. And it really feels like we're preparing for a wedding or something. Memorial isn't a wedding, is it? But there's something about that when you're tuned in, there are many, many things to experience. And I remember Sudesh Didi giving a definition of the power of silence, which really always touched me. She said the power of silence is when your mind, intellect, and sanskars are in harmony. Really, that was so beautiful. Mind, intellect, and sanskars in harmony. So in other words, of course, it's not that my mind is thinking one thing and my intellect is saying, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. And then another sanskar is jumping in and pulling me in another direction. And I think we all experience that. But when really I have the power of silence, which means that I am truly soul conscious, but actually experiencing, and Baba mentioned this a bit, Murli, living in my original state of being, then there is only harmony. And where there's harmony, there's a lot of power. And if there's harmony within with all the ministers, as Baba calls them, then to be able to connect with Baba very naturally, it is very, very easy. It happens naturally. And yesterday, I think it was yesterday's Murli, or it's been a few days, Baba's been really emphasizing this whole thing of aspect of the secret of the soul and the supreme soul. The secret of how the soul is a subtle point and the supreme soul is a subtle point. And so the power of silence is inviting us to go into, I feel, the most subtle kind of awareness, most subtle kind of consciousness as we can. And when we're really in that subtle consciousness of being that subtle point of light, it's really like a new world opens up in terms of the power of silence. There's a quietness inside. There's a power inside. There seems to be a direct line where there's a current that comes from Baba. And that current can be filled with love, can be filled with power, can be filled with truth, can be filled with, light, whatever. And this is something that then begins to really fill the soul up inside. And then, of course, if there really is that power inside, then I'm able to give in a very unlimited way. Baba always emphasizes this word unlimited. Unlimited parents, unlimited inheritance, unlimited sovereignty, unlimited service, unlimited, unlimited. And unlimited means, nothing is conditional, nothing is, there's nothing to cause a limit or a restriction on what I can do or what I can reach. And when we go into the unlimited, then our thoughts and the power of silence is very much connected with the power of purity. And when there is the power of purity, and just now, of course, been listening to the various things from that's going to be played for Daddy. And one of the things someone describing, Daddy would say, clean out your heart, cleanliness of heart. Well, what does that mean? And it's, can I clear out of my heart any kind of negative feeling for anyone? And if my heart is very clean and there's nothing negative that's sitting in my heart, then that cleanliness enables me to take that, be filled with that power of purity. And then I can take in a very unlimited way from Baba. Just hold on a moment. Hello? Hello? I think they've gone. Somebody was coming in. Then it means I can really take in a very unlimited way from Baba. And this is what is needed at this time. Unlimited service, but before I can do unlimited service, I need to be able to take in an unlimited way. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And I often remember this experience when I was with a group of religious leaders and we were interacting with some students in a college. And a question then was asked, sometimes you give and give and give, and then people misuse it. And should there be a limit to your giving, And it was an elderly rabbi who answered, and I loved his answer. He said, well, God has given us everything in abundance, so we have to give. And afterwards I said to him, that's the kind of answer one of our daddies would give. And it's true. Baba, if you think about the daddies, they've taken so much from Baba. Yes, of course, Baba says, don't waste your time and energy in the sense of, am I giving lots of time to somebody and they're, it's just nothing's happening. But the real service is with that cleanliness of heart, the good wishes and pure feelings. It's not a question of how much time we spend or don't spend. And in that, there has to be no limit. We have an abundance from Baba, and we mustn't let any negative effect. Yesterday, Baba talked about effect and defect, and we shouldn't let anything limit what we can do. And I think I find that very helpful when I feel if I get affected by something and I say, well, by this thing, I'm limiting myself. I don't want to limit myself. It shifts me. And I say, no, let me remain unlimited. Let me remain with that dignity. Because when we get limited by things, I was also seeing the connection between royalty and reactions to ours. So when you have royalty, there are no reactions. But when you step down from that stage of royalty and dignity, it's so easy to react. And then another R, you regret. So they all come together. And so that state of royalty is just very, very beautiful for the soul to be, to practice that. But royalty connected with abundance, with the unlimited. And so, yes, let me, through the power of silence, take everything from Baba so I can serve in an unlimited way. Thank you. I think that's 15 minutes and there might be questions, but these are a few thoughts.
Thank you for bringing this subject. Anyone, Diana's typed she was really enjoying this. And if there's any questions, pop them in the chat. Was just thinking about this image of royalty, and it's in a way useful because we've all got a reference point for that. And sometimes we know it, but then, as you say, we step down. So to get back, in a sense, the right position, do you have something what works for you to quickly get back and not get into a kind of regret spiral?
Yeah, I do get into regret spirals, of course. But yeah, it is reminding myself that it's reminding myself, just sometimes saying that word royalty in my mind, and then what comes to me is the feeling of how it is. So then I feel, you know, even my posture changes. Royalty, not ego. Ego, very different. And ego will really cause you to fall flat on your face. But royalty, you know, what's beautiful about royalty, you know, even today, and I know we've had the passing of His Royal Highness, the Duke of Edinburgh, and quite a remarkable person, actually. But even in the royalty we see today, and this is way beyond, gosh, you know, way down from Lakshmi and Narayan, isn't it? But there's still a certain charitable feeling about them. You don't get the feeling that they want anything from you. And I think that's the biggest thing. This thought that I don't need anything from anyone. My duty is to give. As someone who has royalty, my duty is to give. My duty is to make things better. My duty is to give something good into the situation. So I remind myself and talk to myself like that. But of course, today, Baba said, keep the picture in front of you. And Baba especially mentioning the Trimurti. And then Baba said, didn't he, that then you remember that Brahma becomes Vishnu, creation through Brahma, sustenance through Vishnu. And you see Vishnu, very royal, right? Can you give anything to Vishnu or Lakshmi and Narayan? I don't think so. So, you know, just those images are so powerful, but just, it's really not just reminding self of the word, but reminding the self of the feeling and enjoying that feeling. And then you feel, okay, yes, Baba, this is much better than, you know, all the other things we go through and we feel a bit scrambled in our mind. And no. And also find royalty helps you to put the priorities, you know, and not get too, you know, caught up in things. I need to practice a lot more, definitely, but I love the feeling when it's there and I can experience it. The daddies were so royal. I remember once Daddyji, I was in India and it was an interfaith gathering in the south of India, and Daddyji arrived and she walked into the hotel and she didn't say a thing. Nobody said anything, but it's like the people milling around just parted out of respect. And it was just her presence. There's, you know, nothing else. Amazing.
This posture in the mind of like, how can I give like this royal delivery and just their demeanor, and it comes through in their body language and actions. It feels like the happy people and communities are those who have this posture of giving. But one question that comes to my mind is it wrong to take support in order for me to get strong in this very clear true self-respect of the true self, which, as you say, ego is helplessly in a different posture and wants to take. But whilst we're training or trainee angels, if you like, how do we know we're okay with, say, right now we're on this retreat and it's like a support, sustenance, and a sharing. I don't know if the question is clear, but how do we know we're taking but still remaining royal, true to our royalty?
You know, Baba has created a whole system, hasn't he, of centers. We have our daddies, we have the instruments, And Baba has never said, take the course and then go and sit at home and meditate. Baba's never, well, he'll say that if you can't come out and you're in bondage or something, but otherwise, you know, Baba wants, you know, there's strength when the Brahmin family is together, very, very much. And while we have that opportunity, it's actually part of us being a Brahmin and fulfilling Baba's Srimat to be together. And so it's not a support in a limited way. This is an unlimited support. It's a deeply spiritual support. If I take the support of people in the sense of, I want to go and have a good gossip, I want to go and have a good time, well, we can go and have a good time as well. That's not forbidden, definitely. But, you know, if that becomes something I can't feel good without that, you know, then I'm getting into the limited. But where I have good company, where I can be on a retreat like this and not just be there because it feels nice and because there's nice people around, but because I'm with a deep aim to take in the depth of spiritual knowledge and make it my own. So I'm not dependent on any one person, but I am taking what I've learned from all of you, from Prashant Bhai, and I'm saying, okay, what does it mean for me? And how does this strengthen? How do I use this to strengthen my stage? And in that way, you won't be taking a limited support, but your stage will build up, your stage will grow. And so Baba's created all these yuktis. So I wouldn't recommend that you test yourself by not going to the center or not going on a retreat. No, Baba would never say that. That's a bit like thinking, well, you know, do I really need food? Okay, I won't eat for a couple of weeks. Well, Om Shanti, you know, it'll happen. No, we follow all Baba's systems, we become strong. So when a time comes when we can't do these things, we have the strength to cope. Now, we've had Corona, we've had this year, things are easing up a bit. And, you know, thank the Lord, that's all I can say, that we've had Zoom or we've had the internet, because we've been able to communicate so well, have our webcasts, you know, it's lovely being with all of you, you know, but a time will come when we won't have that either. So let's take full advantage of it now and become strong. And then when that time comes, our courage, Baba's help, we will know what to do. I don't know if that's answered the question.
Yes, it does. And this point about making it one's own is coming back for me. It's like this congruency. And this point you made about mind, intellect, sanskaras are in harmony. And then we have silence. That what Daddy said, it's like then we're, you know, true to ourselves and integrating and, you know, aligning. So there's not a difference. And so it's really very clear.
Yeah. Being true to oneself is, I mean, Daddy would speak about this a lot, you know, is my conscience, am I allowing my conscience to speak to me? Or am I, you know, denying it in some way? And I think it's always very important to catch those inner subtle feelings. And we know when we don't catch them, and it's like, we think, I did get that little feeling, but I ignored it. You know, I thought, no, I can go ahead, I can whatever. But we need to catch those subtle inner feelings and act on them. I do feel it's very important. So you know, Baba said yesterday, was it? The heart is in the soul. I love that. And the conscience and the intellect, conscience and intellect are very much connected, and definitely part of the soul. The conscience is part of the soul. So I need to listen. Sometimes we don't listen to ourselves enough. You know?
And one last question, maybe, in your experience of many years being with the family and supporting with Global House. What would be maybe one character trait that you can identify that you see in Brahmins who have become strong in their stage, or like something that we can, put into practice, reflect on?
The biggest one, humility. And along with that, honesty or transparency. So, where somebody has humility and honesty, or I also like to use the word transparency, and then you feel safe with them. And it also means that if I'm humble, then I'll be able to learn. So Baba today talked about the boxing, and so we won't just be defeated by Maya, but it might be painful, but we'll know, someone's written something, but we'll know how to learn and how to make the best use of that situation. In a small dialogue I was in recently, not with BKs, it was a dialogue about love. And one woman said, we'd asked the question, what is the greatest gift you've ever received? And a lot of them talked about trauma being a great gift. And one of them said, the greatest gift was when I was humiliated in front of everyone I wanted to impress. And she said, it was very painful, but then it made me go deep inside and ask the question, who am I? And she's a very spiritual person, and it was really a turning point for her. So humility is very important. And Dadiji spoke about leadership once, and she said, if you want others to love you, then you first have to love yourself. If you want others to respect you, then you first have to respect yourself. The foremost quality of a leader is humility, and a leader should always be accurate and alert. And that describes the way she was. She wouldn't use the term leader for herself, but she was asked to speak on this topic, and very, very much describes that.
Thank you for sharing, because it's your experiences become our experiences in a sense. You feel these profound characters and roles that have been played in the Brahmin family. So it's rich. It reminds me when you say, whatever you want, give it. If you want respect.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. And also the other thing Baba says, take another person's defect as my own. So in other words, let me root that out of myself. Then I can inspire someone else. Yeah.
So a lot of appreciation in the chat, and really so nice to be able to connect with technology, as you say, whilst it's serving us, and we can use it to become strong. And so we'll create another time again soon.
All right. Okay. Lovely. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks, Sarah, and everyone. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So in order to focus maybe efforts, any thoughts Prashant wants to add, any final comments before we close?
Hi. So we got lots of things for the homework, and of course, along with the subject of silence and power, also to work on royalty and humility, transparency. We got now enough in our notebooks for the revision. But we will be also seeing, we'll be finishing today with more transmission from Madhuban. We'll hear from Baba also, and meet tomorrow.
Sabing. बहुत मीठी मीठी स्वीट साइलेंस के स्टेज के अनुभव में खो जाओ. अच्छा.